Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek Aloud. It's Thursday night. It's 8:30 p.m. So this is the Gaming Enforcement Agency, the weekly video games live stream /podcast, where myself and a couple of others from time to time join me. We discuss the games we've been playing. We discuss the news of the week. And second slotting it this evening is Unky Dunky. Sir, how are you traveling?
Mate, I'm doing very, very well. It's good to be back this week after a few weeks off, but I've been playing some games and I'm very happy to be talking about them this week.
Oh, yes, indeed. There's been some rip snorters. And I need to start off with an apology for last week. I had a bit of a personal issue come up on the actual game day last week. We're all guns blazing to come on last week, and then something happened, and I was taken away from duty. So I apologize for that. The whole thing fell over. All my fault. Sorry. But what we are doing this week is Games Interrogation and Deliberation. We'll go through the games we've been playing this very week, and then it's on to the most wanted game for the upcoming week. With no spoilers here, Unky, but geez, I'm excited about it, mate.
Cannot wait.
And then, of course, we go into the newsroom. Unky Dunky, how many doors have you kicked in and withdrawn the stories from?
I've only kicked in 2 doors today. I've had a sore foot all week, so 2 doors is all I can manage this week. I've got 2 feet, 2 doors.
The orthopedic surgeon told you, ease up on the doors, Unky.
That's it.
All right, that being said, we are on duty. All right, let's roll straight into games, interrogation, and deliberation. Starting off this week, Obscur Expédition 33, Unky Dunky. Lead investigate away, my friend.
Mate, no, funny you should pronounce it like that. This game is very, very French.
Oh, oui.
Which my son and my wife with their Duolingo will be very proud of at the moment, doing all the French they're doing. But no, I've been very taken aback by this game. Like, if you like your turn-based RPGs, if you like your old-school Final Fantasies, if you like Dark Souls games, this game might be for you. This, for me, in terms of turn-based combat, is probably as most engaged or the best I've seen it. I mean, I really enjoyed your Persona 5s and what was the game called that we got last year? This game of the year.
Persona and then the other one. Yep.
Yeah, that one. I'm drawing a complete blank at the moment. It was in my head. It probably will come to me.
It'll come to us. Move on.
But no, it's definitely the best of the best. I think this game, just from the very first opening.
Return Fantasia something. Metaphor Fantasia.
Metaphor Refantasia.
There it is.
That's the one. I was going to say Orazio Fantasia, but he's just a player that used to play for Essendon and gone to Port Adelaide. So
forget him.
Very similar. No,
he's dead to us.
Forget him. He's dead to us, just like Metaphor is now that this game's come out. But no, very, very taken aback. From the moment you start playing this game, you're reminded that AA games can be AAA games. This doesn't have any right to be as good or as polished as it is, with only 30 developers of ex-Ubisoft employees that decide to go and make this game because they were bored at Ubisoft.
I take it has every right to exist because they put in the hard yards. This is what hard work can yield. Sorry, mate. Back to you.
No, and the fact they're not charging $100 for this is criminal, because like I've paid way more for games that I've enjoyed a lot less in my whole life playing games, if I'm being honest, but especially charging $170 for 3 days early access, which I'm guilty of paying for. But like, for this game to not be a fully fledged AAA game, it's crazy. Like the production phase in this thing, the animation, the music, the gameplay, the voice work, the acting, everything in this game is all top tier. Like, you don't find much better than this. The fact they've got Daredevil himself playing one of the main characters in this game. Then you've got I called him Anthony Starr last time. Ben Starr in this game as well, just doing everything from Final Fantasy to this now. He's gone full circle. He's done Final Fantasy now. He's in the new version of Final Fantasy, which I think this game is just taking off and it's getting all the good reviews. It's getting all the good plaudits that it absolutely deserves. If it wasn't for Split Fiction, this game would probably be my favorite game this year, and in my running for Game of the Year. Unfortunately, Split Fiction probably does take the cake just now in terms of just not only what I got from the game, but what I got with playing with the little fella. But this game's just doing everything I didn't think I would like. Like initially when I saw the gameplay, I was like, oh, a bit quick time eventy, a bit like, turn-based. I don't really want to play that right now. But when you're in it, when you're in that gameplay, it does feel like a Souls-like game in just with turn-based. Like the fact that you have to parry or dodge. And I find myself trying to parry more often than not. I barely ever dodge in this game. The risk outweighs the reward for me for parrying. I always want to try and land that parry because it's so meaty and chunky. And when you land it, it just feels so good to sort of hit those parry windows, especially with the team parries, and everything goes slow motion and they do all their moves and the production values take off with the sound. And oh mate, it's so well done. And just I don't want to give any story spoilers at all for this game, just because I think the story is for me like top tier as well in terms of the simple premise they give you at the start, but how interesting the characters are and the way it's acted, the emotional levity they give to all these characters. Like you spend just enough time with them to know enough about them, but there's also equal amount of gameplay. Like I find a lot of games when they sort of do harp on story and do have long cutscenes, you can kind of get bored. Like, let me get back to the gameplay. For this game, though,
Exhibit 1 is Assassin's Creed from earlier this year. Keep going.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You kind of just want to get into it. But with this game, I think the story is part of it. Because it all works as such a cohesive whole with the gameplay and the story, the story gives me reasons to be doing what I'm doing in the gameplay, and it doesn't feel separate from it. It all feels part of it, and there's not one cutscene at all. There's not one interaction where you have optional conversations with your characters that you wanted to skip, because it all adds to that experience of what's going on in this world, with this story, with these characters. And I'm just enjoying absolutely every moment I'm playing with this game. I've put in 28 hours now. I know it's apparently on the shorter side of RPGs. Apparently some people are saying 30, 40 hours to finish the campaign. I'm towards the end of Act 2, and I know there's an Act 3 as well. So, and I've been trying to do a lot of the side content as well while I've been going. I have been hamstrung by a couple of side bosses that are completely overleveled from where I am, and I know I'm going to have to come back to them later and sort of maybe do a little bit of grinding here and there. But working through the systems, through the Pictos and Lumina's system, which to me at the start seemed a little complicated, but when you realize what it is, to give an example, the Pictos are sort of abilities you can give them. You can see them on the screen now. There was like abilities they get that they can use. If you use an ability long enough, then you can then use that on any of your characters. So to give an example, I had a Pictos for one of the enemies that I fought recently, one of the main bosses, where she would dish out this charm effect, and my characters, if they were charmed, would attack each other. And there's nothing you can do. If you didn't dodge or parry that thing, the next go, your character would essentially instantly kill one of your characters, which made it really hard. So only one of my characters could obviously carry that Pictos to resist charm. But what you have to do is, once you've had, I think it's 4 battles with that Pictos with any character, it becomes a Luminous or a Lumina. And then you can then use that on all your characters. So the points I had to activate for that was 10, so it wasn't too bad. So I've then gone and given all my characters that Lumina. So all of a sudden they're all impervious to charm, so making that boss fight way easier. So that boss fight could last forever and be very frustrating. But for me, once I managed to, which I found out the first couple of times when I tried to brute force it with just the one character, and it dodged and kept getting charmed, I was like, oh, screw this, I'll go off and upgrade that Lumina. Luckily for me, I'd already done a couple of fights. I took one fight, was unlocked for every character, went back in there and absolutely destroyed her the first time I tried it. So, and it's just all that stuff, all the systems work really well together. I just think it is almost the perfect video game. I can't speak ill of pretty much anything in this game at the moment, and I'm so intrigued to see where the story is going. I know it's got a new game plus, and a lot of people have said when they go back to that new game plus, they see stuff from the early game that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't see that earlier on. So that gets me really excited to see where this story is going, and I cannot wait. Troy, how long have you put in, and what are your thoughts?
I've got a bit of a convoluted answer for your first question. I've put in 5 hours, but I've replayed the first hour of the game 3 times. So technically I'm 3 hours in, even though I've got 5 hours on the clock. One of those hours was on Xbox, and then I had a bit of a false start. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. My first time on PS5, my second crack. But then I've gone back again today, and I've put in another 3 hours today. Obviously, the start of the game is significantly easier on your third run through. I absolutely love this game. And to your point, man, of turn-based strategies, like this is the high watermark. This is the first turn-based strategy that I'm actually really engaged with. Normally,
Yep.
I've got to drag myself kicking and screaming through a turn-based strategy game, but this one has none of it. The first question I want to throw your way, did this give you echoes, just slight echoes of BioShock, or specifically BioShock 3 or Infinite?
Yeah, it does. In terms of its tone, I think it really
Yeah.
does. Like it's definitely got that tone about it, and which is, I think, probably part of my life. I'm a really big fan of BioShock and stuff, so it definitely does have those undertones of that. But no, I think it's borrowing a lot from a lot of games, but it's also doing its own thing at the same time.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of other games where they borrow stuff from other games might lend themselves to be like, okay, they're doing, they're master. What's that saying? They're a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yep.
They do it all, and it's all not bad, but it all doesn't come together to form a cohesive whole. Whereas I think this game not only borrows from other games, but just does it so well. The fact that I'm playing a turn-based game like a Souls game and getting the same satisfaction out of, a parry in Sekiro in a turn-based game is just insane. I think this is the new standard moving forward when it comes to these style of games, and I cannot wait to see what this studio, this is their first game, mind you, like insane that this is their first project to do this. I know we've got, junior developers coming from other game studios are probably very talented. Well, not probably, definitely, given the fact they've punched this out. But see what they could do, whether it's under the Claire Obscur banner and we get Claire Obscur completely different game, or do we get Expedition something else? I don't know. Going to be hard considering it sounds like all the other expeditions have died in this game and it's led up to you now. So whether we get another one after that, if they're not successful in their mission, I don't know. But I'm very excited to see what they can do, considering this is only their first bout at on a modest budget compared to a lot of these other big games. Like what they are doing, they are batting well above their average.
100% they are, man. I absolutely love, part of the reason, to the BioShock sort of echoes that's in it, I love the dark tone of this narrative. Minor spoiler alert, it happens in the first 20 minutes, so, don't worry about it, and I already showed the footage. But basically it starts off, and I don't know if she's your current missus or your ex-missus, but you're having a very touching scene with her, and then she gets Thanos clicked out of existence, turns into petals, and that's kind of where you're off to the races. And then the entire game is set up on this whole notion of, how do you survive people? How do you survive severe loss? What does that mean? What does that do for your character? What does that do for your motivations? And then I think about the 40-minute mark, something like this, early cutscene once you're sort of on the main land, there's a moment where he goes, puts a gun against his head. I think it's in a dream sequence, but he puts a gun to his head, and it's sort of this whole thing of, if you've lost your reason to live, how suicidal can you get? And then what does it take to overcome those odds and find a reason to move forward and regather yourself and, dust yourself off, pick yourself up and head forward and find a new adventure. Like, I absolutely love the tone of this narrative. I love the subject matter they're exploring. It is absolutely fascinating. This is the only story in a turn-based strategy game that has ever caught my interest. To your point, man, I absolutely love the action scene. Turn-based combat isn't typically my favorite, but what you were saying earlier, the animations are top-notch. They've got those sort of quick-time events in there that keeps me going. And then, once you get like 3 party members, I think once you hit the 3 party members, that's when you get the big team counters or jumps or whatever they're called. That's top-tier action. And it's so enjoyable.
I'll just jump in now because it's on the screen, but like their level design is insane. This level, when you go into like an underwater, but you're not underwater level, when you got whales and stuff above you, and it only gets more crazy from here on. Like, this is very early on in the game, and they're already throwing these kind of environments at you. It just keeps happening. Like,
are you looking for the word biome, possibly?
Quite possibly. Thank God Bully's not here. He'd kill us for that. But no, they don't just stick to your regular style biomes. Like, they just keep doing crazier and crazier things with the art direction, and just it's everything about it. Like, running around in this world is just fun to do. And yes, it's quite linear, but the things they're giving you to look at, and the music and everything about it, it's just a world you want to be in and go back to. And the fact that you can click and run around as any of the characters at any given time as well. You don't have to stick to the main characters by clicking. You can play as any of them. And if you want to float around with a barefoot chick, you can. If you want to run around Metal Gear Solid style like these guys, then you can. It just gives you all these options. It's very just frictionless, like in terms of how you want to enjoy it. You can pull out your your gun attack or your magic attack, and you can, get the jump on your enemies like that as well. Or if they get you, then, but if you've unlocked the ability to have the first go, even if they get you, you can still have it. There's so many ways to play this game. And I just think it's a testament to these developers. Like, they have to be applauded for what they've managed to produce as their first game to be in the contention for Game of the Year. Its story's going to come up later, but GTA 6 being pushed means this game really does stand a chance at, really hitting the high hopes of, Game of the Year towards the end of the year, because yes, we've got Summer Game Fest coming up in June with games we don't know that are going to get announced. I'm sure there's going to be some big ones that we haven't even thought of. I was thinking the other day, maybe we're going to get Resident Evil 9 announced and then come out because they like to do that. That could do it for me because I'm a massive Resident Evil fan. But at the moment, between Split Fiction and this, these are, two top tier games this year that, now the GTA is not coming out, really stand a chance to sort of get their moment in the sun, which I think that's really good for them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I haven't obviously played that far into it yet. Have you found a Nathan Drake-esque character? Have you found anyone that fits the mold?
Not quite. For spoilers, I don't really want to say too much about characters because they do some really good stuff with characters and story development. So I literally will not say anything because it would rob not only any viewer, but it would definitely rob you of one of the moments that happens in the game that I just couldn't believe that happened. It took me aback. It took even my little fellow who was watching the game. He's like, he couldn't believe that it happened, and it was crazy. And the fact that Robert Pattinson is not credited for this game, because god damn if I'd be buggered if what's his face Gustav is not a dead ringer for Robert Pattinson. I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but go and have a look at Gustav Troy. Yeah, he is an absolute dead ringer. I'll be surprised if he wasn't initially supposed to be the voice actor instead of what's his face that plays Daredevil. The guy who plays Daredevil, whatever his name is.
Are you going for Ben Affleck or?
No. The TV show Daredevil.
Oh, the one I haven't watched. Sorry, no idea.
Yes, no, good show, good actor. But no, he plays Gustav for this game. But no, if you pull his face up, my God, it's even my son's like, that's Robert Pattinson. So no, I'd be very surprised. But no, I cannot wait to see what these guys do next. This game, 10 out of 10 for me at the moment. I can't see it going down from that score at the moment. I will definitely be finishing this game, as I said, 28 hours in. About to finish chapter 2, taking on the Paintress. You'll probably know what that means, hopefully, this early on.
Yes, yep.
So it takes a little while to get there, obviously, but I think there's a little bit more to go and there's a little bit more story to see, and I cannot wait to see where it goes.
I love it. One of the other shout outs I want to give him is right at the start before in the prologue. You're running around the town and you're speaking to a few people. And I love that there's cutscene and the number changes from Expedition 34 to Expedition 33. And then you speak to a few characters, you get a bit more lore and background. And then you're speaking to one character and he says, I hated how the expedition numbers are going down, but the years are going up. And I'm like, thank you. That was frustrating me as well. I love that they hung a lantern.
There you go. There's Robert Pattinson on screen right now as we speak.
Very good, very good. I'll have to do an A/B side by side, but I'm with you.
You really will. But no, and the fact that you've got some characters that 33, but you've got a younger character who's I think only 16, male,
19, I believe.
She offers a different perspective to why this is going and why, and then the story as to why she's out there with them at this young age. Doesn't need to be, but all the story beats and just everything you were saying before, Troy, about the story it's trying to tell and the themes it's hitting on as well, and they really do harp on this whole you've only got a certain amount of time to live with your family, and how parents, having kids knowing they're going to die, but they still want to give their child the most amount of time possible so they have them when they're young, but knowing they're not going to grow up with parents. They just hit so many themes. They hit so well. Yep. The emotional beats in this game, they just keep hitting over and over and over again. And again, 10 out of 10, this game, it's not going to drop from that for me.
No, I love it. I'll dunk it to a 9.5 for the two following reasons. And I realize this is sacrilege for turn-based player fans. First one, I hate the cutscenes where you can't turn off the subtitles and they only deliver one line and then you have to hit X. No. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. Just give me the cutscene. Just let me sit back and enjoy. Let me turn the subtitles off. That's a quarter of a point there. The other quarter of a point is I hate it when it spits out to the big open world map. That really sort of zoomed out, zoomed, and then you're tiny and you're running around. You've only got an incredibly limited skill set available to you. I hate it. I want to be in this view all the time, running around. It looks so fantastic. I know it's tradition to jump out to that sort of greater world map sort of view and move around in it. I'm not interested. Get rid of it and get rid of make them hit X. There's the 2 quarter points. That's their half point. So it's sitting at a 9.5 for me. I'm absolutely floored by it. The other Bioshock thing is the audio logs. I love them. You pick them up. But please let me hit circle. Let me run around the world and keep the audio log rolling.
Yep.
That just so minor points, but this game's phenomenal. I love everything about it. I can't wait to sink some more hours into it. I'm loving everything I'm seeing. It is. I'm right there with you, mate. This is sitting on top for me of Game of the Year so far. So far.
And I also have to point out that if you are scared off by the turn-based or the Souls-like aspect of it, this game does offer a story mode as well, which does make the combat a little bit easier and stuff. And come Act 2, I'll tell you now, I've had this discussion with Bully as well, that like come Act 2, the combat definitely ramps up. Like from that normal difficulty, you go from being like, I'm pretty comfortable with this, to holy shit, maybe I'll chuck it to story mode. But you definitely can do that. And I've chucked it to story mode for a couple of enemies because, my God, they were frustrating as hell because they were so hard. And, you know, being a slightly older gamer where you can't just play games all the time, I don't have all the time in the world. And with a story this engaging, I don't want to stop that and stop my enjoyment of a game. So I'll definitely like put my hand up and say, yep, I'll chuck into baby mode whenever I need to, just to keep that story going. And I'm not ashamed to say it.
Well, I blame my old man fingers, but I'm right there with you. I knock it down to story when I've got things to do and I got to keep moving. The only other final point I want to make about the combat, just to echo back to one of yours, you were saying how good the parry is, and it looks amazing. And it's very enjoyable, but because I restarted it 3 times, the first 2 times I was just trying to nail that parry window, and I wasn't doing my best at it. But then the 3rd time, so when I did it today, I just dodged. I never hit parry once. And then I think what are they called? Pikachu's, Piccolos, whatever the little pickups. What are they called? Yeah.
Pictos.
Pictos. One of the first ones I got was a dodge. Like if you successfully dodge, you get an extra action point, I'm going to call it. I don't know what they call them in this game.
That's right.
Yeah, so I've equipped that, and then every time I'm dodging, when it gets back to my turn, I can cast a spell when typically I might have been sort of stuck with only an attack. And now I've leveled that up as well. So I'm going through this not parrying at all. I'm all about the dodge. I don't know if you've played around with it, but in my experience, I reckon the window for the dodge is larger than the parry. I don't know if you can speak to it. I don't know if you've... Yeah, okay.
It definitely is, and they've made it that way. They've made the parry definitely... harder, or like a tighter window. And I know a perfect dodge is essentially the same as the parry. So if you can hit a perfect dodge instead of just the dodge, that is essentially the same window as a parry. So if you're doing a lot of perfect dodges, my recommendation is to parry, because you can obviously build action points from that, and you do damage if you parry as well. So if you can learn that parry, which is a lot tighter window than like your Dark Souls or a lot of those games, even like your Bloodborns, you're kind of hitting parry a little bit before the attack, whereas this game, you're pretty much landing it on the attack. If not right before, and they start bringing like R2 parries as well, which for different attacks. Then you've got a jump and an R2 as well to dodge certain attacks. So they just keep mixing it up, and they don't throw all these mechanics to you at once. They kind of build you up to it as well, which I think they do a really good job of it. And the same with all the mechanics, like it kind of gradually builds on each other, and you never feel like some RPGs where they just throw everything at you at once. You go, oh my God, it's just too much. Whereas this is just, it lays it out really nicely, especially if you play on that story mode. You're not going to have too much of a hard time, I don't think.
No, especially if you play the first hour 3 times. You really get in the groove nice and early. But 2 massive thumbs up. I absolutely love this game. If you've got Xbox, you can try it out in Game Pass at no additional charge if you're already a subscriber.
Criminal, it's on Game Pass. Like, everyone should be paying for this. I bought it on PlayStation just because I wanted the better performance on the Pro, but I need to give them my money for this game. If I had it on Game Pass, just like yourself, I'd probably buy it on PlayStation anyway, because they deserve your money.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did, man. I picked this up. You're watching this. This is PlayStation 5 Pro footage here. And very much to your point, I put an hour in on Xbox, and I'm like, no, this is worth it. I'm going to pick it up on the superior platform, dare I say it, throwing a bit of gasoline on the console wars there. But 2 massive thumbs up. Check it out if you haven't already. All right, Unky Dunky, let's move on, or shift gears, shall we, to game 2?
Oh, I love it.
Horizon Forza, I should say. Horizon 5. Phenomenal. The best this game's ever looked. Forza Horizon 5 is the best arcade racer ever. It was locked onto the Xbox and PC. Yeah, it was on PC as well for, was it 2 years? Did it come out 21 originally? 22, something like this? It's been a few years.
It's definitely been a few years now, for maybe 3 years.
23 now. Anyway, it's been there for a few years, and it's been great, but I'm a big fan of using the fast travel system, which was a little nerfed in 5 from 4, but that aside, but it would be, and it wasn't egregious, 2, maybe 3 seconds when you're fast traveling across the map, but running on the PS5 Pro, Oh, baby, it is damn near seamless. The game looks phenomenal, absolutely silky smooth, runs at 120 frames a second, looks great, load times are nothing, sounds amazing. The only negative, and I'll say this because I said about Indiana Jones as well, and I think Microsoft are doing it deliberately, they are not using the speaker in the controller at all. And it's criminal. It was criminal in Indy, and it should definitely be used in Forza. So I don't know if somebody needs to have a word to somebody else at Microsoft and say, hey, guys, you're doing all this work to put it onto the PS5. Why not just enable that one last feature that it just put it up?
The DualSense does feel good, though. I feel like the DualSense feeling through the controller does. The Xbox seems to just vibrate, whereas the DualSense, you feel the dirt, you feel... Like, it just feels much better on that controller.
I love drifting around the corner. You pull the brake in the L2, and then you're hitting little jumps, and you're getting the little shakes.
Yeah.
It's absolutely seamlessly done. I don't know why they didn't enable the speaker. That drives me nuts. Because, when it's very tutorial-based, but throughout it, you can use, like, a GPS system. Every time you hit pause originally and you see a new screen, there's, like, a, 10, 15-second voiceover. That would be perfect out of the speaker.
Agreed.
There's so many spots they could have implemented, and they haven't. Sorry, mate.
No, they really could. But like loading this thing, I didn't think I was going to do it, and I saw you playing, I saw Bully playing. Like, you know what? Let's give it a crack. And like Bully was saying, it was the best looking game he's seen on the PlayStation 5, and he's probably not far off. Like you load this thing up, and you think, how could it look better than it did on the Series X? But it definitely does. The Christmas, just the HDR, just everything about this game looks insane. And it's criminal that an Xbox exclusive game looks better on a PlayStation than it does on its own console. But like, just as you said, best arcade racer going out there. It's even much older now. I'm assuming we've got another Forza coming as well. But Playground Games, I'm pretty sure they're working on Fable at the moment as well. And looking at the way this game, looks on a PS5, and this is going on a 3-year-old game now, I can only imagine how good Fable's going to look on this engine.
Yep.
I believe it's being built on the same engine, but like just the world they've created, the racing, the controller feel, just everything about this game. It's like an adventure game built in with a racing game, essentially, because you've got all the stuff you can go do. You got the XP boards out there. You've got all the cars you can get. You've got the Hot Wheels expansion, which just like adds a whole nother realm of possibility. You've got the rally stuff now as well. I love playing rally games back in the day as well. That's in there. You've got your cross-country racing. You've got your big spectacle races where you're racing against an aeroplane and motorbikes come in and people on gliders are coming flying and you're trying to race all them. Like when you have those big moments, this game is just on all cylinders, like an absolute masterpiece of racing. And like the fact that PlayStation owners now get this is just insane. It just makes me think, there's no limit now to what we're going to get from Xbox over to PlayStation 5. There's a story later. I won't spoil it now, but another game coming to PlayStation 5. Like, how long until we see Halo come into PlayStation 5 and it looks better than it does on Xbox? Like, it's insane now.
On that point, mate, have you been running around in the Warthog?
I haven't done the Warthog race. No, I haven't.
I've been driving around the Warthog. It's my main vehicle, and I'm just chuckling to myself the whole time. Yeah, first time we're seeing Master Chief. Well, other than Fortnite, but you know what I'm saying. Yes,
I was about to say Fortnite as well, but no, it's just crazy. Like why? I know they say everything's an Xbox, but now my PlayStation's an Xbox. It's a little crazy to say, but I know they've got their exclusives, and I know they've got their timings. And sometimes you get a game like Indiana Jones. We've got that December last year. We only just got that on PlayStation, but I mean, I'm double dipping. I've finished that game on Xbox and now I'm back on PlayStation, and I'm like 70% through the game on PlayStation now, and that's even looks better and plays better, and with the controller, just something about it on the PlayStation just feels better than playing on the Xbox. I'm like, I know Xbox doesn't really care about that kind of stuff now because they are essentially like a third-party developer, and we're going to be getting all their stuff wherever I have to applaud them. They're all for the gamer. Like, they're just putting their games, wherever they can get them. I mean, this game's been out. You're not going to sell many more of these games on Xbox. Put it out on PlayStation. Why not? Get that revenue and, bump up the resolution, make it look better. I don't care if PlayStation people say this looks better on Xbox. I don't give a shit about the console wars. I just want to play good games wherever I can play them. And if I've got both consoles, I'll play it where it's best. And, most of us will do the same thing if we've got both of those consoles. So the problem is you've got the PS5 Pro now, which is obviously better hardware. So anytime they bring these new games out there, that's probably where I'm going to get them. So that's where I think my only gripe lies is where we do have those, timed exclusives where we do have to wait a few months where I'm like, I really want to play this game and I want to be playing it in the zeitgeist where everyone's playing it on the Xbox. But just knowing in a few months' time it's going to be on PlayStation, and I'm an idiot, so I'll probably spend the 70, 80, 90 bucks to play it again on PlayStation. And even now, like even games are coming out on, both consoles, instantaneously. You might and Game Pass is having a ripper year. Like it's so many games on Game Pass, but I'm still paying the money for them on PlayStation because I want that slight graphical bump. Like Adamfall recently was a prime example. Expedition 33. Blueprint.
Oh, that was free on both.
That did come on both, which I actually really liked that they did that. But Expedition 33, prime example, could be free on Game Pass. PlayStation 5, you got to pay for. Doom is coming out very soon. That, again, free on Game Pass. Do you think I'm going to pay for it on PlayStation? You bet your ass I am, because it's probably going to look better and play better, and the control's going to feel better.
And probably won't use the speaker in the DualSense.
Yeah, probably not, but you never know. Fingers crossed, Troy. You never know. We'll report back next week when we're playing it.
Go, Ben, go. All right.
I'm done.
I'm not. So this game's only been out a week. Let's call it a week. It might be 8 days, but I have put in 29 hours into this. This is why I'm only 5 into Cloud Obscur. 29 hours into this, and this is the most, one more run. But it's, for me, to your earlier point, man, it's, I want to just have driven on one more road. I want to have hit one more bonus board. And it's just taken 29 hours. It's evaporated 29 hours out of this past week for me. And I've played I haven't finished it, but I've played a vast majority of this on Xbox. So this is my second crack at it, and I still love it. It's the best it's ever looked, and I just can't put this thing down. Best arcade racer ever made, running the best, looking the best ever. Hats off to Microsoft. They've nailed it. To your other point about the delay between, Indiana Jones December and then coming out, what was it, March? I think that's a thing of the past. I reckon that was just, hey, on the way in, it's a bit awkward. But I think now that they've set it up, I honestly think we'll be getting day and date for everything. Do you know? I think Doom's day and date, on both consoles, I believe. Yeah,
Doom is day and date. It's just when you get, I don't know, because it's not Microsoft essentially developed. I think stuff like
Bethesda, which they own.
Well, yeah, I know, but I think when you see stuff like Gears of War E-Day, for example, say, we're getting Gears of War PS5, but with the new E-Day, I don't imagine that'll be day and date. I imagine being a Microsoft product, that game would be, a few months. I think Xbox wants that on their console.
I don't reckon they even care about the Xbox console anymore. I think they're all about that cash they're getting off PlayStation now. I reckon it'll be day and date moving forward, man, honestly.
Oh, it'll be cool. We'll have to wait and see. But no, I mean, I would like that. I would really very much like to see, all their games day and date. I don't think it really matters. And I don't think they think there's a console race. I mean, they know they've come out and said they've lost the console race. So why not bring it out on PlayStation? I mean, just give everyone the game. You're going to make more money on the day. So, I mean, I'd like to see that, and we haven't seen it yet. I think with a Microsoft product yet, we haven't really had the chance to see it happen. So, I'm not whether Fable, does it as well. I'd be interested to see, or Perfect Dark, all those big tentpole games they've got coming. Whether they go day and day PlayStation, I'm not sure, but
that'd be mad not to.
It might have been long enough now that that initial period of that awkward phase is gone, and they just go, stuff it, let's just do it.
Yep, I honestly reckon that's what we're in for. I haven't read anything, haven't seen anything, but just looking at the landscape, there's no reason not to. Who are they trying to impress at this point? No one. They've already waved the white
exactly
flag.
Right. I mean, and Microsoft like money, so let's be honest. So. That'd be silly not to.
Who would have thought Microsoft liked money? I love this game. 29 hours in. I'm enjoying myself ridiculously with it. Catch in the speaker. But other than that, I have no other points to make on this fantastic game. If you love arcade races and for some reason you're thinking, I'm not going to play this because it was originally on Microsoft, you're crazy. Drop the fanboy. Get into this awesome game. You're missing out on an absolute rip snorter of a time. Unky, any final points on Forza Horizon 5?
No, nothing really, man. Just other than Gran Turismo 5, which is also an exceptional racing experience. But if you want your arcade racing experience, this is where you go.
Oh, yes, indeed. Sign me up for another one of these. All right, game 3, and we're over to you. What is this? Killborg? Killborg, I want to say, Unky. Tell me things. I know nothing.
Kyborg?
Cyborg, like cyborg, but with a K?
Well, like a cyborg that kills things. Killborg, Kyborg. I don't know. It's a weird game. I'd seen sort of snippets of this game, and it's sort of taken me back just from the graphics. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game. Oh, it looks kind of a little pretty, and getting back into Returnal recently with my roguelike stuff and the updated PS5 Pro patch, which is not really a story we're talking about, but yeah, we got that in the last week as well, which I've been really enjoying. But I was kind of getting that roguelike itch, and this sort of caught my eye a little bit, just as a sort of a little AA game. It's, a $40 title, where it's essentially a brawler. So it's sort of, if I had to sort of describe the fighting style, it's kind of a bit Batman Arkham-ish in its combat, bit Sifu-ish.
Is it all? Was it Fight Night? I think it was an indie last year or the year before. Is it anything like that? Fight Night? No, that's what it's called. What was it? Midnight Fight Club. Midnight Fight Club. That's what it's called.
I didn't play much of that. I wouldn't say so, because I can't really talk to it. I didn't really play that game. But
fair enough.
This is your third person like action brawler game, but it does have guns in there as well. But like, I think you start off your first run and you're like, I see where they're going, and the combat's kind of okay. But then when you start unlocking different stuff, it's got a massive skill tree to unlock, extra health, combos, more ammo for your guns, different augmentations that you can unlock, that you beat a boss and all of a sudden you unlock different stuff. So every time you clear a room per se, like a wave-based room, you get the choice you might go to a room that's like, I'm going to unlock a new melee weapon, or I'm going to unlock a new gun, or I'm going to unlock a new, cybernetic upgrade. So you can see in the screens here, he's got like different spines or face or arms. So they might give you different abilities. So there might be one that instead of like a dodge, it gives you like a blink, or you'll drop fire damage when you move, or you won't be able to block, but all of a sudden all your attacks do more damage, or you unlock different ability, like special moves. There's one eventually you unlock through your skill tree. So once you die, you got cash, you can spend it on permanent upgrades, as you can see the tree here, which it does a really good job of. I think some roguelites don't give you enough permanent stuff when you finish a run that makes you feel like, why am I doing this? This game is constantly giving you cash when you're doing a run and rewarding you. So every time you're going back in there, you are always going back into a new run stronger. So to unlock, like, you got main weapons where you hold L2 to aim and you can shoot, or you've got your quick fire button with your gun, or they do crazy weapons which look like lightsabers, or you might have a frying pan or a bow staff, and the weapons do degrade, but then you can unlock, permanent upgrades that, it means your melee weapon might last longer. So the different builds you can go through in this game, and the choices you make to build out that cyborg character can really affect the way your run goes. Like, you might have a dream run where you, like any other roguelite, where you just seem to get the great RNG where, your character's just godlike, and the damage you're doing to a boss. Like, there was one time where the first boss you get to, you might take a few runs before you beat him, but I got to a stage where there was one boss fight where I used a main weapon on him, a main firearm. I killed him in 3 shots of this main weapon, where normally you'd be spending hours and they're trying to melee him, or you hit him with a couple of gunshots. But because my build was so strong, I built so well, you just absolutely melted him. And my run was, a really good. I got to the second boss, beat the second boss very easily, and then was very close to getting to the end of the run. And the whole concept of the game is you're this prisoner and you've got 1,300 years on your life sentence. And, if you can get through this game show thing to the top to get to the helipad and escape, that's essentially it. So you've got this crane-like character that's like commentating over you the whole time. So it feels very like cyberpunk, very like what's the movie I'm thinking of with Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford? Come on, Troy. You've got this.
I need a few more hints. Can I phone a friend?
Oh, God. I can't do it. I want to say Pulp Fiction, but it's not. It's the one set in the future, and it's Harrison Ford.
You're not thinking of Blade Runner, are you?
Yes, I'm thinking of Blade Runner, Troy. Well done. Nailed it. Freaking nailed it. That's the thing. It's got all those vibes about it. It's very, if you're in Total Recall, it sort of harpens on that as well. Like, it's just got a really cool cyberpunk vibe about it. It's very violent. Like, the combat is very visceral. You're knocking heads out. Your like arms and limbs are coming off. It doesn't have a lock-on mechanics, so very similar to Batman. Sort of wherever you're aiming, you're attacking, and you can hold L1 and do a homing attack from like miles across the land, and just land and attack and just keep going. And it's a really fun little indie game. I didn't expect to have as much fun as I had, and I was just like constantly had that one more go about it. And the fact that it's Unreal Engine 5, so it looks kind of pretty. Yes, some of the character models and stuff may exhibit Xbox 360 style characters, but what they do with it is really fun. Like, if you want like a good roguelite game that's just violent, if you like your Batman Arkham combat, if you like violent, if you like cyberpunk, I think you'll find a bit to like about this game.
Is it? It's giving me from what you're saying and what I'm seeing. Is it a bit like Ascension, which was obviously isometric, but it looks like a third-person maybe Ascension game? What was that? 2021, I think, that indie game, and I loved
The
it.
Ascent.
The Ascent. Sorry, the Ascent. Yes. That is the one I meant.
Very similar vibes to that. Like, yes, it is just sort of. This is like the Ascent's more of an RPG style game where you got different areas, whereas this is more of a, not level-based, but it's sort of wave-based area. So you walk into a room and it's like procedurally generated, so it'll look different each time. You've got your semi-biomes, like the one you see on the screen now, that's essentially the first area. Then you go into more of a lab area after that, and you fight different enemies. But once you get to the last boss, it unlocks a different difficulty, and you go back through with all your unlocks, and the difficulty gets harder. So it's got a good replayability about it as well. And as I said, no run's the same. Like, you're always unlocking different abilities and different guns, and it's just a lot of fun. Like, as I said, the first run, you're like a little bit, I don't know about this combat, but once you start unlocking all the abilities and stuff, it really opens up, and it's just a lot of fun. I reckon it's one of those like games you don't have to think too much. If you don't really want to, a big deep story like Expedition 33, you just chuck this thing on and, have a few runs and, knock a few heads off and just, good fun.
I didn't think I'd be interested, mate, but you've just about EB Games and sold me on it. You've perked my ears up. You've perked my ears up. I reckon
you'll like this.
You're saying all the right things to get my sale here, mate. What's your commission code? What code do I put in at checkout to make sure you get your commission?
Just unky dunky, just chuck that into your code and you'll get a nice little discount on this one. But no, chunky sound effects as well. Like the way when you hit, it just sounds crunchy. Like it's doing all those small things right to sort of just give you that, one more go.
How's the DualSense speaker going? Are they using that?
I think they are, actually. I feel like I heard him coming through the controller, and I know that you definitely feel the hits and stuff through the controller as it goes as well. So definitely got that support in the controller. And Troy, give it a crack. I think you'll enjoy this one.
You speak my language, Unky. You speak my language. And the final question I've got, and it's going to be one where we're probably going to have to phone a friend, but you mentioned earlier that you start with a ridiculously long prison sentence and you're trying to work it down. My question to you is, what was that game on Vita that was the exact same, totally different gameplay style?
It's funny you say that because I was actually going to bring it up, but I couldn't remember the name. I know Bully reviewed it like a few weeks back as well, and they brought out the remaster as well, where you start out. I literally cannot remember for the life of me what that game is called. I know Bully was here, he'd probably tell us in a second because he's a weird. He loves that shit. I
remember playing it, 2017 or 2016 or something, whenever it came out. I played it back then, but the name has totally escaped me. So let's instead move on to a game that hasn't escaped me at all. It is Days Gone, the PS5 Pro Enhanced re-release came out. Now, this game was originally, Unky, what are we going to say, 2018 for the original release? 2017 maybe?
Yeah, PS4. I reckon. PS4, it was one of the last titles, I think, on the PS4.
Yeah, anyway, fantastic game. I platinumed it back then, and then it was the 10, 13, I can't remember the exact price, few dollar upgrade to get the PS5 Pro remastered. I won't bang on about it too much because we've sung its praises many times in the past. Myself and Bully did. You weren't actually here, Unky, so I'll get you to time off in a minute. But basically, from my point of view, the first two acts, it's Sons of Anarchy, the video game. It's phenomenal. It looks fantastic. It runs as best as ever run. I can't wait to get to Act 3 so I can see the Hordes. I reckon they will just absolutely sing on the PS5 Pro.
Criminal that they introduced the Hordes so late in that game.
Oh,
I think that's
crazy.
Reviewers or whatever just played that game and were like, with all that stuff they advertise, you have to play the game for 20 hours before you get there.
It was a crazy choice, and it was to their detriment that they put in so many teaser trailers because everyone just spent the first 20 hours. Come on, let me get to the Hordes. Anyway, fantastic game. I loved it, and this is the best it's ever looked and ran. Absolutely phenomenal. If you have it in your library, I say it's a no-brainer for was it 10, 13, 12 bucks? I can't remember. 15. Thank you, sir. I think it's $15 incredibly well spent. I absolutely love it. 2 thumbs up from me. I've banged on about it in the past enough. Unky Dunky, any thoughts from your point of view? I'm not sure we've ever heard you sound off on Days Gone in general.
No, you haven't, but first I'll say Freedom Wars was the name of that game. What were you thinking
of? You nailed it.
Well, Google did. Just so you know what my Google search was, it was games with prison sentence Japan. And that finally did it for me. No,
that didn't come up with what was it, Borderlands? No. What was the I'm like old mate that Sonic director.
I just figured out one game. I don't need another game to try and figure out the name of.
Bell in Wonderland.
Oh, good job. The worst
Japanese prison sentence. All right, anyway, back to you.
No, Days Gone, $15 for an upgrade here, and I've watched the Digital Foundry stuff on it, and they actually have done a fair bit with this game, especially around night time, the way the game looks, and I have to applaud them on their save game transfer as well. Like, seamless to go through and just load up my old game from where I was, like, probably back the year it came out, and just to be able to load up literally from where I was up to with the brand new graphics, brand new gameplay, mechanics. Well, they give you a lot of options now in terms of point of view and field of view and all that kind of stuff, which you'll be probably fisheye in this game now.
I did.
But it feels really good through the dual sense as well, the sound effects. I might actually go. I've actually put a couple of hours in since I got the upgrade, and I think I might have to go back and finish it because I think I'm right near the end of this game. Like, criminal that I never finished it. I think it's criminally underrated as a game. I think a lot of people are, it's not Last of Us, but it wasn't trying to really be Last of Us. It was doing its own thing. I think the bike mechanic's something we haven't seen in the game, where the bike was really your horse in this game, and you really had to treat it like that. And it's, as you say, you have to be near it to save. You store weapons on it and stuff like that to worry. If you're running out of petrol, you have to stop and try and find petrol to fill up your thing. I think there's real unique mechanics that I think at the time don't really get the that they probably deserve in terms of the stuff they do. I think people just see it as an annoying mechanic at the start as opposed to something unique. And then, amongst a whole bunch of games that aren't doing anything new, like this actually was trying to do that. And I hate when, it takes years after the fact for people to actually respect what a game was trying to do. And if you look, like, a lot of the feedback on this game is actually very positive, and a lot of the player feedback is very positive. I think it just, copped it from the critics when it first came out, which kind of did it a bit of disservice. So good to see it getting its, it's sort of redo now. I mean, it's probably speaks wonders for maybe getting a sequel, but I just don't think these developers are working on one. There's been rumors about they are working on it, but I don't think it's this. I think it's the same developer. I think we're going to work on the next Uncharted game potentially as well. So I could see them doing that before they do a sequel to this. No, they're just quality game. It looks great on the PS5, and I'm glad, it was only a $15 upgrade for this, because very well worth the $15.
Yes, absolutely, man. I agree completely. I love it. My last question, and then I'm happy to move on, was with the save game import from PS4, did it give you all trophy unlocks for where you were up to in the story?
It did. All the trophies started popping, which I thought was really nice. I didn't expect it, and it did. And just on the whole, you mentioned how it takes so long to get to the Horde mode in the main game campaign. They actually have added a new Horde mode gameplay mode where you can go through with players, different characters, and play all that stuff. And if that's the stuff you like the most about the game, you can jump in there and do it. I haven't done it yet, but by all accounts, it's a good, fun way to enjoy this game as well. So again, for the $15, you can't really go wrong getting a whole new mode, whole revamp of a game that's already great, and getting your save transfer and all your trophies as well. So if you at all enjoyed this game, even if you like The Last of Us and you've never played this game, give it a shot. It's a really good time.
And I can't think of any other video game that did bikers as the main characters anywhere near as well as this. I was a big fan of Sons of Anarchy, so being able to play the game essentially. Can you even think of another one? Mad Max, he doesn't ride a motorbike really?
No, he doesn't. He's more of a car thing. So no, this really does that sort of biker fantasy thing really well. And you got Deacon St. John, like, acted by the same bloke that's from Star Wars. What game did he do? Trying to think of it was one of the
Jedi Fallen Order. Is he that bloke or?
Yeah, it could be. No, it's not Jedi Fallen Order. It's one of the older ones. There was a sequel where he played the main character of the main Sith / Jedi.
Okay.
I can't think of his name, and I can't think of the name of the game. So let's move on.
All right, moving on to this week's Most Wanted, other than actor and video game time. Okie dokie. Whom is this week's Most Wanted?
Well, it has to be Doom, the Dark Ages. It's just around the corner now. Who would have thought? It's May already, and we're getting one of the most hotly anticipated games of the year just next week. And 3 days early, if you pre-order the collector's edition, which it's Troy, the whale in me, really wants to do this on PlayStation. I know I can just wait until the 15th, get it for free on Xbox, but I want it on the 13th, not the 15th, and I'm almost willing to pay the $149 to get it. I don't know about you, but
it's calling to me, Unky. It's calling to me.
It is, and I mean, I've even gone back because I had never finished Doom 2016 or Eternal, and I'm right at the end of both of those games. So I've gone back on the Xbox and finished those now. So I'm more than equipped to come back and play the Doomslayer once again. And by all accounts, this game is looking incredible. It's, we had 2016 was kind of revamped the Doom thing a little bit faster with the glory kills. Then Doom Eternal was more about sort of movement and jumping. This is, on the ground. And like Troy, when I say this is looking like the Returnal version of Doom, that's what's getting me excited. It's looking roguelike. Look at those attack patterns. You're on the ground, you're strafing, you're parrying, you're throwing your shield. Like, this is giving me all the right vibes. You're not in a room, just getting swarmed by enemies like you are in Eternal. This, might as well just call this game Doom Returnal. You've got more of an open world aspect to this, and the enemies sort of seem to be more Elden Ring-like in terms of you just coming across sporadic enemies and you're fighting them, as opposed to just like a room, you clear it, you move on. They're doing a lot more with the story of this game as well. Like a lot more cutscenes, what I've read as well. Like, they put a lot of money in the cutscenes and the story they're telling.
They've given the Doom Slayer a cape.
They have. They're giving him a cape. He's back in the Dark Ages, and apparently he's got a cape. Who knows? Can he fly? I don't know. He's got a dragon. Whether he jumps off that dragon and takes flight, I don't know.
I finished Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. I cannot wait for this game. I absolutely love Doom. I'm a Doom fan from the original Doom back on PC days. I, in fact, installed it and played it in DOS, if you can believe that, before Windows. I'm a huge Doom Slayer fan. This game is speaking to me. My question to you about the 2 days early access, Unky, just thinking back a little bit to our Forza 4 discussion and Microsoft, and, they're just forgetting essentially about the exclusives and they'll day and date it. Imagine if Microsoft kept the 2 day early access to Xbox and the PlayStation option was only day and date, like launch day and date. How would that go with your whale tendencies? Would you pay for the 2 days early access on the Game Pass when you don't need to?
Nah, probably because at the end of the day, I'm a graphics whore, and the pull of the extra fidelity and performance out of my Pro, and I just generally at this stage prefer playing on that controller as well.
Oh yeah, you've got the edge.
I do, and I really much prefer that controller. It's slightly bigger, slightly heavier, and just the feeling you get out of it is just like a DualSense. So I think I would wait for that 2 days just to play on PlayStation. It's not like I don't have other things to play at the moment. I've got Claire Expedition I want to finish. I've just picked up AFL 26, which I'll give you a quick little review. It's way better than 23 when it first came out. 26 definitely much better so far in my first hour of playing that. But now I've got Forza, I've got Expedition, I've got Oblivion, I've got heaps of stuff to play. So I would happily wait an extra 2 days to play Doom, I think, just to play it on the PlayStation.
I can't wait. I don't think my bank balance is going to support my desire, but if I had the money, it would be purchased in a heartbeat for me for that 2 days early access. I love me some Doom.
I'll just try and check out the prices. So we've got $119.95 for the
That's the standard. I think it's $159, isn't it, for the deluxe?
$169.95. So you get your 2 days early access, campaign add-on, digital art book, Divinity skin pack, and a Void Doom Slayer skin. So that's a lot of money to pay for a lot of extra stuff to probably unlock in the game. But that 2 days early access puts me into my days off at work as well. Whereas if I wait till the 15th, Unky's back at work. So it's a tight one. I know it's a lot of money.
I'm no doctor, Unky, but it looks like you might be coming down with something on the 15th and 16th and 17th, maybe.
Yeah, feeling a bit crook, mate. This guy's doing it for me at the moment. I know. It's no good. He's coming for me, so I've got to go into hiding, I think.
Very good. All right, most wanted Doom. I can't wait to check it out, and hopefully I can get that 2 days early access. Unky, you'll have to let us know if you do, in fact, go whaling on this one and pull 2 days early access, and then let me know how good it is.
I'm going to.
Well, if you're going to do it, then you put an hour into it and tell me it's amazing, I might have to as well, and then I can blame you.
You can absolutely blame me.
Very good. All right, let's kick it in newsroom door. Story one this week, Unky. I'm tearing up already at the news, mate. Tell us things.
Oh, well, the news initially was that G.E.A. 6, it has been pushed to 2026, which I think we all saw the writing on the wall. A lot of other games are probably very happy now that their 2025 release schedule is no longer in jeopardy. I think a lot of people thought when Borderlands 4 was brought forward a couple of weeks, everyone was thinking, we're getting G.E.A. a couple of weeks after that. That's why they're moving out of the way. And then not even a week later, we got the news it's slipped to 2026, May 2026, which apparently is the anniversary of the death of Bonnie and Clyde, which, considering this is apparently a Bonnie and Clyde-like story, makes a lot of sense, but I could also see this game slipping beyond that May 2026 date as well. I think that date is for stakeholders and stuff, just to say, yeah, cool, yes, we
end
have
of a quarter.
but let's give it a date so we don't, lose too much money or too much trust from the stakeholders. But I could definitely see it slipping. And no one's going to be mad if by the time we get to, May 2026, they slip it to the end of the year as well. Because again, I think next year's going to be big for games anyway. I think that's just sort of, a nice little peace offering. And speaking of peace offerings, today we got another one with the GTA 6, or was it yesterday? GTA 6 trailer 2 we got, which showed us a lot more. Rockstar comments said there is a little bit of gameplay in this trailer, and if you do sort of look at it closely, there are bits where it looks like it is sort of cutting from cutscene to gameplay. The graphics look insane. Apparently, this trailer is running on a PS5, so apparently it's running at 30 frames per second. YouTube might upscale it to 60 frames if you watch it on one of them, but I think this game, if you can tell me a PS5 Pro is going to run this at 60 frames per second, they're going to sell a shitload of PS5 Pros if they haven't already. Because this game is incredible. Like, you can see where all the budget's going. You can see why this game's taking ages to come out. A main character, he's got like an 8-pack, so you already haven't had to draw an extra 2-pack on any other normal character in the game.
He's only got to get another 4, mate, and then he can match you.
He can. He's close. No, he puts me to shame, this bloke. Rumors going around that he might be an undercover cop as well, so we never know, but it's going to be a bit hard if he's, hooking up with some chick that's just got out of prison, so might be a bit there. But just seeing all the stuff in this trailer, like, this just looks Vice City just turned up to 11. Like, it looks like Bad Boys. It looks like Miami Vice. Like, it just looks insane, Troy. Like, I know they show this just to sort of, it just makes it harder to wait for that May 2026 date, if I'm being honest. And I can't wait to see if we get any more gameplay. I think they'll probably go quiet again, though. I think the last trailer we got was, almost 2 years ago when they announced the 2025 release date. So they may go quiet. Whether we get more at Summer Game Fest, probably not. Rockstar generally like to do their own thing. So, as again I said, I'm happy to wait to next year now. It doesn't seem that far away, really. These years are going quicker and quicker. The older we get, and as I said, there's plenty of good games coming out. We've got Summer Games Fest coming up, so I'm guaranteed the end of the year is going to be stacked as well. Even if you look at the stuff that's already announced for the end of the year, like, we've already got plenty of things to play, and everyone's going to move, heaven and earth to play this game when it comes out, whenever it comes out. So I'd prefer a game to come out polished than come out half baked.
Yep.
On day one, and I'm more than happy to wait for GTA, and I think it just gives them a chance to get all their ducks in a row, to get online multiplayer working. I know when GTA 5 launched, the multiplayer was an absolute dog pile and just didn't work at all. So, you don't want that kind of negativity to come from, their biggest, essentially, IP. It's going to be the biggest digital release of all time, the biggest media release of all time, video games, movies, whatever you call it. I think this thing is going to break absolute records across the board.
No doubt, man. I just hope it comes out before I lose all use of my fingers and unable to play. That's the only thing they need to bring it out before. I love everything about it. Do you think the gameplay that they showed in trailer number 2 was the moment where she was cleaning up the side of the highway as a prisoner?
Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me if you're doing stuff like that. But I think if you look closely, they do stuff in the trailer where I think they hint at all some of the kind of side jobs and stuff you're going to be doing, and collecting cash and all that stuff for certain characters. I think there's a blog that's come out. If you go and read it, they actually talk about a whole bunch of the characters and stuff and what they're going to do within the story as well. So there's our man with his abs out again. Look at him, dreamboat. In fact, I think they've modelled him after me. It's pretty similar.
When do you get your commission check for that one? That'll be a size.
Yeah, I know. I better go hit Rockstar up like Lindsay Lohan did for GTA 5.
I'm reminded right there on screen now. I'm reminded of CJ in, what was that, San Andreas, where you sit there mashing the X button to do the one. That might be gameplay as well. You never know.
Well, mate, I was hoping we might get that back, because that was one of my favourite things to go and get CJ jacked. I'm hoping they bring sort of back you're going to make him fat, or go to the gym or go down to the beach and get him jacked now as well. I think that they could bring those more RPG mechanics back, and they probably work that stuff in towards your online stuff as well. So this is going to be huge. Rockstar, thanks for the trailer. Thanks for the little bit of an entree now that the main's been delayed to next year.
Yeah, I don't mind the delay, and this trailer just has me even more hyped than ever, but I can absolutely wait. Cloud Obscur has my ticket for at least another, 50 hours, I reckon. Forza, we have so much to play. Doom's coming out next week. I've got enough games to play. I don't mind the delay, but I cannot wait to play this whenever it's available. Sign me up. Unky, news story 2, please, sir.
News story 2, as we alluded to earlier, PlayStation just getting all of Xbox's goodies here. So we're getting a bit of a weird one where it's Gears of War 1 being remastered again.
Now, is it the remaster of the original or the remaster of the remaster?
I think it's a remaster of the remaster, which I think is the first. So I don't even know what you would call that, a remaster or a remake remaster. I have no idea what you call this. But, yeah, why not? Why not? But no, it's good to see it finally coming to PlayStation. I imagine we might see 2 and 3 as well.
A collection, you're saying, or in future years?
In future years, I'd just be a bit wary that with what's it called, Gears of War E-Day coming out potentially next year. I don't think you want to saturate too much Gears of War before then.
That's fair.
I think if people you can get burnt out. I think if you're playing 3 Gears of War games, then E-Day comes out. I think you give them a redone version of Gears 1. We play that for whatever many months it's there. I'm not sure I'm assuming multiplayer's there as well. But you're getting like your 4K, 120 frames per second. I think assets are already done. So the game's going to look very, very pretty on next-gen consoles. And then
as long as they use the speaker.
Well, they might. I mentioned the chainsaw sound coming through that speaker on the PS5.
But the whip in Indy, wouldn't that have been perfect out the speaker? And they didn't bother with that.
It would have. But I'll just go through. So with this edition, apparently we're getting 4K, 60 frames per second in campaign, 120 frames in multiplayer, HDR, Dolby 7.1, spatial audio, variable refresh rates, 4K assets and remastered textures, enhanced post-processing visual effects, improved shadows, reflections, super resolution with improved anti-aliasing, and no loading screens during the campaign. So it's a decent upgrade on what we've already had in Gears. And I still remember the day Gears of War came out back in the day when I was working at EB Games, and all I wanted to do was play that game. And I remember my friends wanted to go to the beach that day. And so I got the game, took it home, and I had to go to the beach and wait all day and wait till that night to play Gears of War. And I couldn't have been more dark on my friends about the beach. Not only did I get sunburnt, but I had to wait to play bloody Gears of War. So, and it was well worth the wait, though, because it's an absolute ripper of a game. And I've loved the series. Cannot wait for the new one. But I'll put my hand up. I'm getting this day one on PlayStation 5, 100%.
Ooh. Nice. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but as my memory serves, and it's getting a bit spotty, but I believe I picked this up from you at EB Games as a midnight launch title. Does that sound right? On the Xbox 360?
You may have. Did you get the collector's edition as well? Didn't it come with?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. So you had to wait till what, 5 p.m. of launch day? I played it at like 12:20 or something. I was home and firing it up. I loved it.
Mate, jealous. I guarantee I'll be playing this one day one, that's for sure.
Not
only because I don't have to go to a store, but I'll be buying it digitally. Bully, who will probably wait till he gets his hard copy and clog more space in that basement of his.
And shout out to the Active Reload. First game to give us Active Reload. Welcome back.
Oh, welcome back. I should be. I was playing Returnal just the other day, and I was using the Active Reload there as well. I'm like, it's just like, Gears did it way before everyone else, didn't they?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
They really had some of that. I mean, we don't really have cover shooters like this anymore. Like everything's sort of like active cover, and it just sort of goes in the cover for you. You don't sort of tap a button. I love that snappy feeling of jumping into cover and just shooting from there, and like just the visceral attacks of the chainsaw and revving them up and running towards a locust and cutting him in half. It's just visceral, and it's going to look so much better in 4K, 60 frames per second, Troy.
The only other cover-based third-person shooter I want to see remastered for the PS5 would be Spec Ops: The Line. Give me some of that action. I believe that had Active Reload.
It did, and it was such a good game. It was voiced by Nolan North, the main character, as well. And like, it's just unfortunate. It is backwards compatible. You can play it, but it's running at 30 frames per second. It looks a bit dated now. But no, if they just gave us just a small update to the game, I'd replay it again. One of the best stories in a third-person shooter, and again, just like Claire Expedition, just the themes that goes with that game. This is awesome.
It's phenomenal. And for any eagle-eyed viewers out there, you may have noticed on today's Let's Install I did on the channel on the PS4, on the Xbox Series X dashboard, on the previously installed queue is Spec Ops: The Line. Last week, I reinstalled it and have been going back and enjoying my time with it immensely. Oh, that game's good. I think that'll do it for this news story, will it not, sir?
That'll do it.
In that case, we have come to the end of the show. We are off to... And I apologise to the viewers out there. Normally we have Bully on duty in the chat being able to look at it, but I have way too many screens firing here and I can't keep an eye across it. And I believe Unky is a little bit tired, foot's a little bit sore, orthopedic surgeon's going after him. Doctor's telling him he's got to get some sleep, so we are going to get out of here. Unky Dunky, excellent work slotting it all this evening, mate. Great stuff.
My pleasure, mate.
Fantastic to have you back. Let's Install's continuing to come up on the channel, and we will be back next Thursday. I say we very loosely because I don't know if Unky's available. I don't know if Bully's available. We're just going to have to wait and see, but
we'll make it work.
We will. Unky Dunky, in the meantime, what else could you do with Geek Aloud?
Like it, subscribe it. You'll never miss it.
Oh, that was luck.
Hey, that's something.
Old Uncle Donkey.